Hey everyone, I'm so excited today because I'm talking to Dawn, who is one of our most incredible clients that joined us for the Biz Reboot in the most recent round. And she has just been an absolute rock star, and she's done an amazing job with implementing everything that we talk about, both on the strategy side and mindset side. And she has made some incredible shifts around her mindset as well. So I'm so excited to be talking to her today. So thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on today and chatting with us. Do you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Sure. I'm excited to talk to you. So I am a multicultural content strategist, which means that I help my clients think about how to create culturally smart content. So I help them kind of figure out the stories that they want to tell, how to best tell their brand story with cultural relevance. So keeping their audience in mind and to a multicultural or international audience.
Awesome. So, I love your work so much. Like, it's just such an interesting topic. And I'm going to be listing the link to your website below the video on the website. So anybody who wants to check out Dawn's work and all the awesome stuff that she's doing with the multicultural content, which is such an important topic, especially in like today's day and age, definitely go check her out because she's amazing at what she does. And everybody needs this at some point.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. So let's jump into the question. So before you joined the Biz Reboot, like what was going on in your life? Like what were some of the problems you had? Yeah. What was going on that made you join the program?
Well, I've been working as a copywriter and content strategy on my own for about 7 years in my own business. And I had really kind of just come to the point where I felt like I really needed clarity on what I actually wanted to do. I had done really well up until that point. And I started to just think about, do I actually have the clients that I'm really passionate about? And am I doing the work that I'm passionate about? And also looking at kind of long-term is what I'm doing, really what I really want to do, and is it sustainable into the future, and was looking at maybe adding some income streams, etc. And all of that kind of came together where I was just kind of feeling like I was in this holding pattern, like I wasn't really sure exactly where I wanted to go, and I knew that I really needed to get clarity on my business to move it kind of to the next level. Yeah. And so that is a lot of what I was looking for. And I also knew that because I wasn't really clear and wasn't as excited about what I was doing as I thought I should be, I also kind of took a back seat in terms of, like, you've talked about a lot about being the CEO of your company. Yeah. And in the last couple of years, I kind of, me being in that holding pattern, it kind of had an effect on my business where I started to see my numbers declining a little bit. And then that kind of kicked me into gear to realize I really need to figure out what I'm passionate about and go after it. So that's what I was looking for when I happened to see your course.
Great. That's awesome. And yeah, you're so right about the holding pattern thing. And I feel like that's such a trend for a lot of freelancers or solopreneurs, because, when you are in a larger company, like somebody else or an agency, somebody else is constantly setting the vision for you. So it's not like you have to be your engine, right? You have to be your own engine. So you can just follow other people's direction, or there's somebody else who's doing the thinking on your behalf for what the future is going to look like. But when you're a solopreneur, it can feel like so much pressure to now be the economic engine of your business, sure, but also being the visionary, also being the person who needs to decide what's going to happen next month and next year and in 5 years or whatever. I feel like a lot of freelancers are not really used to that, because most freelancers or most people who are solo consultants, let's not even call them freelancers, most people who are solo consultants have been in jobs before where they didn't have to do that, right? So yeah, it's so natural to want to be in that holding pattern because you're just like, this is what I know how to do. Like, things are going well. Let's not rock the boat and all of that. But then there is a price to pay, because then your business is not growing as fast as you want it to grow. So yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of people are going to relate with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was, and I had been in that holding pattern because I think I was a little bit afraid, because my work had been going well so far, and had done really well. And, the people around me were often like, everything's going well. I don't, what are you worried about? And yeah. But I also knew inside that I wasn't really clear on exactly what what I wanted, and I needed an outside perspective. And that's a lot of what I was looking for, and what, I'm sure you'll have further questions, but that's a lot of what I found in the group.
Excellent. That's amazing. Yeah. And, it's so funny that you said that, like, other people are saying like, oh, your business is going pretty well. Like, what are you worried about? And sometimes you feel like that question's coming up for yourself as well. It's like, oh, like, but things are going okay. Like, should I really be complaining? Because it's so funny how our psychology works. It's just like we recognize, like most solo business owners, when our businesses are going well, we recognize that we have it better than so many other people, right? Like, I know it sounds a little bit arrogant to say that, but like, you don't have to commute, you don't have to work with a shitty boss, you can grow your revenue whenever you want, you can fire your clients if you feel like firing them, and that's totally okay. And it's so interesting because we think like, oh, but look at all my friends who are still in jobs, like they don't have what I have, they don't have this freedom, so I should just be grateful for this freedom, and like, just like, even if this is not exactly what I want, I should just settle with what I have. And that is such a trap, because when you change your mind about it, and that's why the mindset piece is so important as well, right? Like when you change your mind about it and you really figure out that you can literally have everything you want. So it's like, if this business is not making you happy even a little bit, then you can fix it and change it and like go after something better. And you have the permission to do that. Like you don't need the permission at all, but you have the permission to do that if you need it. So yeah, I feel like that's just such an interesting shift to get.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you said that, because I spent part of the reason I started my own business is that I wanted to be able to travel, and that's a value to me. And I spent 3 months last summer in Europe and was able to work remotely, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And so many people around me said that to me, like, you're so lucky that you can do this. And I did. Yeah. I was really excited that I'm traveling around, seeing all these amazing sites and making money at the same time. And what was interesting to me is that that was amazing, and it was part of the life that I wanted, but I knew there was this small piece of the focus of the work that I did that wasn't quite right for me. Yeah. So even though there were all these amazing things around me, I still knew that there was a little bit of a need for me to just take a leap and try to really go after what absolutely, like, why I've already gone after this part of what I wanted, already started my business. Why am I so afraid to go to the next level to really go after what I want? Yeah. And so, I don't know. I just was attracted to your course, and it seemed like maybe that would be a good way for me to get some feedback and hone in on what that was for me and kind of cut through the confusion.
Amazing. Great. Okay. So let's talk about like results for a second. So what results have you experienced as a result of going through the program?
Number one for sure is clarity, clarity in a couple of levels, which is huge, because it's really one of the main things that I was looking for when I signed up. And one is just clarity on my business, on exactly what do I want to go after. The idea of niching down to really focusing on multicultural marketing and having the courage to do that. And the feedback that you all gave me from that was priceless. So me just being clear on that and what I wanted, what my niche to be and the kind of clients I want to work with. And then even just a larger picture of clarity on my purpose. Right. I think my purpose in life in general, I was a little fuzzy on that, to be honest. And then, and that was what was interesting to me about the mindset piece with Hank and Nicole and you as well, just challenging me to really look at my purpose. And I remember having the one-on-one conversations that we have with Hank and Nicole have been really helpful to me. And I remember specifically one conversation with them of pushing me, of talking about being really clear on your purpose and that driving everything. And I knew from my experience that was the missing piece, and I was just trying to figure it out. And I was frustrated that it was taking me a long time. And I remember pushing back on them and saying, they started talking about being clear on your purpose. And I said, hold on a minute. That conversation frustrates me because I feel like I've been looking for my purpose for a long time, and I feel like I don't get there. And they were so quickly able to kind of cut through the crap from what I like, how I would say it, to look at it and go, look, maybe it's right in front of you, and you've been doing a lot of this all along, and you're doing this holding pattern because it is comfortable for you. It's comfortable for you not to decide, because then you can just kind of hover. And to be honest, through this process, I feel like I have walked away with a really clear, solid purpose, which is something I have been looking honestly for pretty much my entire life. And so hands down, the investment I made in this course to figure that out and to feel like I'm really clear on that is absolutely priceless to me. And I am so grateful for that.
Oh, that's so great.
And then, and I think you asked me about results. So a couple of other that come to mind is just the ability. So once you're really clear on your purpose, I think it's really easy then to be afraid of those, not like, well, what if I move forward and it doesn't happen? And those thoughts that go on in your head. So the ability to kind of look back and reframe those fears and look at it in a different perspective and go, well, what if what happens is amazing? What if the results are absolutely amazing beyond my wildest dreams? And so I think that I have seen that as a result, my willingness to kind of face those fears and to understand how to reframe them in a way that allows me to continue to move forward in the path that I'm looking for, and the support that I've received from everyone throughout the class has been incredible and kind of helping move me along in that process.
Amazing. I love that so much. And thank you so much for sharing. Like, it honestly it fills me with so much joy to hear that. like every time somebody says like, oh, this investment was completely worth it, I'm like, yes. I feel really good, because ultimately, and I know we've talked about this a lot in the group as well. Like, for me, doing this with you guys, it's not just about, it's not about money. It's not about like, oh, this is a business, let's grow it like a business. Like, in the group, like Hank and Nicole are just such amazing people. They care so much. Like, caring for our clients is one of the most important things that I remember. Like, I discussed this with Hank and Nicole before they came on board, and even with Adam, our new team member who's doing sales for us now. I remember having discussion with all of them, and I was like, guys, like, one of the things that's just completely non-negotiable is how well cared for every single client feels in our presence all the time. Like, if they want a response, they get it quickly. We make it super easy for them. We are here for them. Like, I want them to feel like we have their back 24/7. Like, I never want anybody to feel like they're just out in the world doing this on their own or anything that's sort, or they're a part of like a 300-person cohort where like Satya doesn't even know who the heck you are. Like, it's like, that was one of the things I was like, I do not want this to be one of those things. So every time somebody says like, oh, they had such a good experience with Hank and Nicole or Adam or anybody else, I'm just like, thank God, thank God we're doing this right. Like, we're doing something right. Like, this is working. But also, like, with the clarity piece, it's so important because, you can spend years and years and years feeling stuck or feeling like I don't have clarity. So you're just like, not mucking around, but more like spinning wheels, right? Like, you can spin your wheels for a really long time. So clarity is just such an important thing, because if you can get clear in 8 weeks and then move forward with that, you just saved yourself like 2 years of like struggling. And what is that 2 years of struggling worth? Like, to most people, a 2-year struggle is easily worth more than 6 figures, right? It's easily worth like $200,000-$300,000, like, easily. So it's like that is what you are saving yourself from. So, which is why the clarity piece, I feel like, is so understated, but it's so important, because if you don't have clarity, you can literally spend at least 2 years like just spinning wheels and feeling like you're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. And I have what has been so incredible, and part of the reason I signed up for the course is that I knew it would be a fairly small group of people, and that we wouldn't just be numbers, and I wouldn't be I'd taken other courses in which I was one of maybe 600 people or who knows, maybe even more than that. I really wanted to feel like I would know the people in the cohort and that you would know my name. And it really has been, I mean, obviously you learned a lot more than that. We all learned a lot about each other. And we're very intentional in just in the Facebook group, how supportive people were and how people checked in on me about things that they knew were going on for me. You know, it was way more than I expected. And it's like, you know, you kind of graduate with this whole new group of friends who are all over the world, kind of that are cheering you on. And it's been an amazing experience for sure.
Great. That's so good. And I'm so excited to like meet all of you in person. I know it'll happen at some point, like eventually retreat or no retreat. I'm sure we'll end up meeting at some point. But yeah, like I'm really thrilled for that as well. Because and by the way, if you guys ever meet each other, please send me a selfie because that makes me really happy. But yes, it brings up a lot of FOMO because I'm like, why are my friends hanging out without me? But it's like, it's nice to but it's nice to see you guys like connecting in the real world and all of that. And like, for example, in the cohort before yours, there's a girl called Makua, and then Makua ended up hanging out with Hank and Nicole because all of them are in Australia. So it's so nice to see them hanging out in person. And I'm like, damn, dude, like, I wish I was there. Like, that sounds really fun.
I know, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to meet people in person.
Yeah. Great. All right. So I guess the next question that I have for you, let's see, because you kind of answered a couple of them already. Okay. What would you say to somebody who is on the fence about joining this program?
I would say, first of all, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I think, and I know that seems really simple, but I think that I spent a lot of years being a little bit cheap about investing in myself. And I have found over the years that every time I do it, it comes back definitely worth it. And so I also think that if you don't invest in yourself, that you often are attracting clients that don't want to invest in you either. So first of all, that I would say for sure. And then I would say trust your gut. I think, and I don't know if this will be a later question, but when we were talking about potentially being in this group, you sent me a questionnaire, and I think it was called a gut check questionnaire.
Yes. Yeah.
And I literally spent maybe half of the day kind of going through that and just getting alone and thinking about what do I really want and what feels good to me.
Yeah.
In the end, I just decided I knew I could come up with a million reasons for why this, you know, may or may not be a good idea, was a good timing for me, etc. But in the end, I had to trust my gut, and I knew that there was something telling me that I needed to take the chance and do it because and it was what I needed. And so I would say definitely get, you know, however that works for you, get alone, meditate, find your space where it's quiet, and just check in with yourself and just ask, is this something that I feel like is something that I need to do? And then listen to that part of your gut telling you, yes, it's perfect, you know, yes, go for it. Or maybe, you know, sometimes your gut tells you no, but definitely that's my best advice over the years. I've learned that the hard way, I think, but always trust your gut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so true. Like I do that all the time these days. And I think it's becoming more and more because I feel like you go through life because feeling like we are the one making all the decisions. Like, oh my God, like this, you know, it's like I am the person who is making everything happen, or at least that was the case for me. And after a point, I just realized that I can just ask for answers. Like it's totally acceptable to ask the universe or angels, God, whatever it is that you want to believe in. Ask that bigger force for answers. And basically what you're doing with the gut check is the same thing, right? It's like you're listening to it in a very subtle way. You're listening to that really tiny voice that's always within you, that's always guiding you. And like when you get centered and ask that force for an answer, it's not going to lead you astray. It's not going to lead you to make bad decisions. Most of the time we make a bad decision from a place of fear. And realistically, I feel like there's no such thing as good or bad in this world anyway. It's just what you make out of it and how you perceive it. So it's mostly our perception that makes us feel like something is objectively good or something is objectively bad. But there is no such thing at all. Yeah, but no, that's a great answer. So thank you for sharing. Do you want to share a bit more about like what concerns you had and what put your fears to rest before you joined the program?
Yeah, I think most of my concerns were around the investment and the timing, just considering I didn't want to spend the money on a course and then not be able to finish it, or feel like I was too and then within the second week I'm already behind or something like that.
Yeah.
But in looking at your course, and what really stood out to me too is that I knew that there were weekly phone calls and that there were coaching calls, and I knew that that would keep me on track.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it's a small group, so people will notice if you don't show up. So just those tiny things that like I knew that I needed accountability, and that would be a really great way. And so I think some of my fear was whether or not I would be able to follow through everything. But in looking at it, I knew that you had done a really great job of just putting those pieces in place that keep you moving forward, so that you could do the homework, and even if you are a little overwhelmed by the homework, then you know that you have a phone call coming and you can ask questions, or and it wasn't and the homework's not this overwhelming amount that you can never get done in a week. And so it was a really good way of just keeping me on track. So I think that those were probably my main concerns, which ended up being happy with the results for sure. So trying to think. Sorry, now I'm going.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, those were my main fears, is just whether or not the timing was going to work out, and if the investment would be worth it. And as I said, me feeling like I have clarity on what I do alone made it worth it for me, because I know that now that I'm clear, I'm really excited about what to do next. And super excited about the fact that there's the Quantum Leap Club and an ongoing coaching program, so that also gives me that accountability as I move forward and kind of figure out how that purpose should play out in my business. And as I have questions, then I have this support group with me along the way, who already are familiar with my fears and my business and etc., and can kind of help support me to go to the next level, which is really what I was looking for.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, great. So actually, this is one question I have not asked anybody else, but I'm like, let's do it, which is, what made you choose the Biz Reboot over like any other program you could have done, or like another coach that you could have worked with?
Probably a couple of reasons. The first is that I knew that I really wanted a smaller group of people. I had taken a course before and felt like I was a number. And even in the Facebook group, I felt that there were a lot of people commenting on things that they may or may not even know anything about me or much of my story. And so it wasn't as helpful as it could have been. And I knew if there were two things. I think it was a smaller group, and then the group of people. I knew you were interviewing people and you kind of curate the group, the cohorts. And I knew that the groups would be people who had good experience, who'd already been in business for a little while, who had life experience, and they would just be this caliber of people that I really would respect and want, and would get some really good feedback from. And that's exactly what I found happened, is it was just this really great group of people, super smart, experienced in so many different ways. And then with the smaller group, we all kind of know what each other is doing or trying to do.
Yeah.
And so it was just amazing, kind of the community that we developed from it.
Yeah.
And I would say that for sure, just the smaller group, and then knowing it was kind of this, I call it a curated group of people that that had some really good experience, that I felt like all of you would be in a good position to mentor me in different ways and to feedback. And I was really looking for that. And so I felt like that stood above and beyond. And just I've been kind of overwhelmed or amazed with just even the level of professionalism and experience that everyone has. I mean, you have put in a lot of experience in how you've created, thought about your business differently and created packages, and how you approach that in your sales experience. And then you add Nicole and Hank, who have tons of coaching experience and in the corporate world. And it just brings together this really amazing group of people who are so smart and so knowledgeable that I feel lucky to have been in a group like that.
I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the love so much. Thank you so much.
I'm sending it your way.
I'm feeling the love. My heart chakra is so fuzzy right now. Feeling so good. But no, that makes me so happy. It makes me so happy to hear that, because I love everybody who has been in your cohort, and honestly, everybody who's been through this program so far have just been like an incredible. They're at a certain level, right? They're at a certain level of expertise. They're a certain, not even just expertise. They're just really good people. Like, they're just really kind. Like, I would, for example, like I was thinking the other day, I was like, I would house swap with anybody in like a second. And not feel like, it's like, not feel scared to house swap, because I'm like, I know all of these people. Like, these people are amazing. Like, I'd be happy to have them come live in my place or whatever. Like, if you guys ever come to Singapore, I'd be more than happy for you guys to stay with me. Like, it's obviously because I'm like, yeah, I already know everyone, right? They're just really good people. Like, the quality of people so far in the program have just been incredible. And that is very intentional as well, because I, like, the first thing I told Adam, because we were like having a conversation about like how I do the sales process and all of that stuff, because I wanted to make sure that we are very compassionate and all of that during the process as well. One of the things I told him, I was like, this is a standing instruction. If you ever feel in your gut that somebody is not a good fit for the program, decline the payment, like decline the agreement, don't take them on. Because I was like, I do not want anybody who's going to be like an energetic baggage in the group. Like, I don't want anybody who is going to show up to the group and expect it to be like a place to wash your dirty linen, or a place to bring your drama or anything of that sort. Like, I just want people who genuinely wants to go to the next level. Of course, there are messy emotions that are going to come up. There's nothing wrong with messy emotions coming up. And I have not hidden that from you guys either. Like, messy emotions come up for me, and I should talk about them in the group as well. So it's like, that's totally fine. But the most important thing is that we need to have a willingness to move through it and come out to the other side and actually, like, see the light of the day, but also like help other people learn from it, right? Like, even our messiest emotions are completely worth going through if it's going to actually help other people see things differently or improve their lives or anything of that sort. But yeah, I feel like this cohort, like I didn't have to do any policing at all, because I felt like everybody just got it. Like, everybody got what this was about and what they were here to do, and everybody did the work. So honestly, the credit is all yours. Like, it belongs to every single person in the group, because you guys have done such an amazing job with just showing up and doing an amazing level of work and showing dedication. Because the fact is that I can create the best program in the world, but if you guys don't take action, then you don't get results. So I think the credit really is all yours.
Yeah, it was an amazing group of people. Everybody was so supportive. And another thing that stood out to me about the program that I wanted to mention is just the holistic approach.
Mm.
I see a lot of programs that were focusing on business and making a lot of money. And while I definitely want to do that, I know that as an entrepreneur, having worked for a while, I knew that there's an emotional and a spiritual health aspect to being an entrepreneur. And I was really interested in a group that would help to cultivate all of that, that holistic approach. And that I saw the mindset piece and thought that sounded interesting, and that it became so much more than I even realized that it would be.
Yeah.
But all of that also stood out to me as something that I knew I was looking for, something beyond just, all about business and earning money, that
Yeah.
also looked more at how we are intentionally caring for ourselves as well, which I think also the reason it attracts such amazing people who are interested in both owning a great business, but also growing personally and giving back and being an amazing community to each other. So
You're so right about that. You're absolutely right about that, because I feel like the culture around business for many centuries, I guess, has been so masculine in a way, right? It's like the only thing that matters is like how much money you're making, and like how many hours you're working, or how many clients you have. It's like it's kind of completely focused on the numbers, like what you can objectively use to say whether your business is doing well or being profitable or not, but it completely ignores the health and the well-being of the person who's actually running it. And I feel like the economy of the world is changing. It is shifting massively, because there's so many individuals who are now starting their own businesses who can do this online thing that we are. But the fact is that we are not massive corporates. We are one person. So, and Hank and Nicole talk about this a lot as well, which is you are the economic engine of your business. If you are not being cared for well enough, like at some point something is going to break. Like either you're going to get sick, or you're going to get frustrated, or you're going to be sad. And what is the point, right? What is the point of earning a lot of money if you are sad, or if you're sick, or if you can't actually enjoy the wealth and success that you've created for yourself? So absolutely, like I think that is such an important piece of the conversation. It's just not being talked about enough at all. And I'm just so glad that we are a part of that conversation, and that obviously it's going to get bigger and bigger, but it's great that people are seeing value in it, because that feels very good. I feel very validated.
absolutely.
Great. Okay, so I have two more questions for you, and I'm happy to let you go. So the first question, or the second last question is, what were the 3 benefits you experienced as a part of being in this program?
I would say for sure, I feel like I am leaving with a whole new group of friends and supporters that I didn't have before. And, that benefit, it was really great for me during the process of, because you're kind of delving deep into figuring out what you want to do and what are your best clients. And some of that looks at your own personality as a brand.
Yeah.
And so being able to have people go along that journey with you and give you feedback, and be supportive, and then still be in contact with them even after the group is amazing. And so I would say that for sure is one of the benefits that I received. And I think, let's see, just the whole, I think my mind has been opened to just how important the idea of mindset is, and envisioning your extraordinary life, and what does that look, not only what, for me, I get stuck in my head a lot sometimes and think about things a lot. And sometimes that keeps me from acting because I'm thinking about it. And the whole idea of envisioning your extraordinary life, and not only thinking about it, but feeling it and allowing yourself to feel what that, like how amazing that might feel, and what who's around you, and what does it look like, and what does it smell like. For someone like me to add all of those visual elements to it just kind of kicks it up to a whole different level. And gets you excited about, once you envision it, then you want to go after it, and it looks very different when you feel it versus just thinking about it. And I know that sounds super simple, but it really kind of revolutionized how I was thinking about my life, and how it could be so much even bigger than I ever had imagined, and that I had maybe put myself in this box of the way that I thought my life could be. And it was still a really great life, but to be pushed to go to this next level,
Yeah.
to think about what extraordinary looks like and feel it, really kind of opened my eyes to how I think about my business and my life in a completely different way.
Amazing.
Did I give you sorry, I love the interview now. Did I give you 2?
Yes, you gave me 2.
3 benefits. I think that let me look at. I think a lot of the tips that you gave around strategy were super helpful to me. Just one thing that sticks out is just the idea of acting as CEO of your business.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you're solopreneur, it's easy for you not to be in that mindset. And so the whole idea of just around thinking about my week in terms of carving out time to work on marketing my business and sales, and treating myself as if my own client, and that I am the CEO of my own business and I need to make time for that, versus spending a lot of my time working for clients, writing for clients, and not always carving out enough time to actually work on my business and my goals and what I want to do for the next level.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge benefit as well, and just kind of getting me to think about how I can prioritize my time better.
Right. Amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. That's all really good. And the final question I have for you, what surprised you the most about the program, or what made you the happiest?
It sounds funny, but what surprised me the most is that I actually got clarity on my purpose. Because like I said, when I talked to Nicole and Hank, I sort of, said to them, look, I've been trying to figure this out for years and it hasn't happened yet. So good luck.
I love it when you guys go and challenge Nicole and Hank. Like, I think Katie did that too. She was like, okay, I don't think you can do such a great job with me, but like knock yourself out. And now she's like, I love them.
Right. And so just them kind of cutting through that and quickly seeing through what I was doing, and also just asking me really good questions and kind of honing in on what actually I love to do, and maybe some of those things I'd been doing all along and not even really known it. And so it was more of this, it was honestly this aha moment that just happened. And so for sure that was the biggest surprise, because I don't know why, but I thought I was never going to figure it out. So kudos to them. And also just the tools I think that I'm coming away with in terms of reframing all those fears that happen when you do know, because as soon as you figure out, you want to go after something, then quickly your mind can say, well, yeah, but can you really do that? Or is that really realistic? Or, you have these loops in your head, these questions that often come back over and over again. And so me learning the tools to just reframe those and think differently about them instead of being afraid of it, looking at it as, well, what if those things do happen? What if I can actually do that? What if it, what if this idea is the most amazing thing that ever happens to me? And so just reframing that self-talk. And I think the other thing that I'm surprised or most happy about is just the support. I expected support because I knew it was a smaller, like a more intimate group. But the level of support, just the fact that people jumped in so quickly on Facebook to offer thoughts and use their expertise to weigh in on a question that I had, or you going on Facebook and shooting a video to answer someone's question, you know, within an hour or two of someone asking it, or, you know, and the excitement at which you were answering those questions was well beyond what I expected. And Nicole and Hank too, just checking in when they knew I was working on something big or dealing with an issue that was big to me. They would check in the middle of the week, and just the care. Like, I know that you said that that's what you want your team to do, and it really does come through in terms of just the level of support. I didn't expect maybe the intensity of it, and how much people were just so eager to help and care about you. And it was just I don't know, I just feel really grateful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing. I feel so happy, because I feel like, you know, it's like you have this vision in your head, and then, you know, sometimes obviously there's also that little voice that says, Satya, that's like unrealistic. Like, can you actually deliver that level of support? But I remember telling like Nicole and Hank, I was like, that is going to be the big game changer. In the world of everything being automated, you cannot automate self-care. You cannot automate care from an actual real human being. You can't automate, or you can't program it into an AI of like somebody feeling loved and cared for, because that is literally something that only can come from another human being. So I remember having this conversation with them, and I was like, I really don't care if it costs more, like to actually have people who care about every single person in our community. I don't care if it costs more, but it's going to happen. Like, we're going to make it happen. A community where people really do feel like everybody cares for them, like a program where they know that people have their back. It's not like you come in here, it's a black box and like, good luck. It's not like that at all. It's like every single step is designed to make you guys feel amazing about the level of support you're getting. So thank you so much for sharing that. That makes me so happy. I'm genuinely thrilled. And I mean, I've already expressed this many, many times to you guys, but I'm so grateful for every single one of you, because I feel like all of you have been absolute rock stars. This wouldn't have been possible if you didn't come in and give your A game. So thank you so much for bringing your A game. It has been such an honor to be here with you guys. And I'm sure we're going to continue being in touch. I'm sure we're going to work together in the future as well. I cannot wait to meet all of you in person, because I think it'll be such a blast. Like, I am even more inappropriate in real life than I am on my calls with you. So we can have a lot of fun and talk about all the good things. So yeah, and which is why we are planning retreats as well in the future. So yeah, it would be so much fun to just have all of you in the same room. I think it would be the best thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing how there's this group of people that you've never met in person, yet they feel like friends already. You know,
yeah.
I feel like I've known them for a long time, and I've not met any of you in person yet. So
yeah. Hey, I haven't met Nicole and Hank in person yet. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, no. I actually only met Nicole and Hank for the first time ever, I think in April or March of this year. So it's not been that long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not
just you met them just via like a phone call or something?
Yeah, like magical powers of the internet. I don't know how Nicole found me, but she did. And then she was in my free Facebook group for a while. And then we got on a call and we just clicked. It was just like, it was there. It was like this undeniable connection. Apparently there's a really huge story about how Nicole found me. And I don't know what that story is. So I need to hear that story, because Nicole's like, I have to tell you this in person because you're going to get goosebumps. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to meet you and you're going to tell me this in person.
Oh,
so I've actually never met Nicole and Hank in person, but they're amazing people. Like their level of expertise and quality of their work is just incredible. They're probably one of the best mindset coaches I've met so far. I mean, I wouldn't have hired them if they were not amazing, but they absolutely are. So I'm just so excited to eventually meet them this year. I hope I can meet them this year. But they're amazing anyway. So I don't feel scared about trusting them with my clients. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Dawn. Just hang on. I'm going to stop the recording and then we can continue chatting.